Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. Unless you're mowing it, let's see your mobile phone for initiative. Do as I say. What's up, a frowny face? Go out and play. Just like your parents did. Just like your parents did. As if your parents did.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to First Gen Gamers, the podcast that looks at the weird and wild history of video gaming one console generation at a time. I am co-host number 1, Jed, and co-host number 2 is Ashley. Hello.
Hola.
How are ye?
Tired. How are you?
Also tired.
Crushing it.
The permanent state of adulthood.
Literally.
Yeah. Oh, so what nice to have you back, by the way. Yeah, I did have a nice fill-in with Kelly from the Final Girls podcast. It was fun to have her on, and she did wish you to feel better and hopes to come back on in the future so that way we could have a three-way whip-around discussion of something. So, yeah, she says hello.
Hello.
But in the meantime, today's topic, what are we discussing?
Controllers. Video game controllers. Best and worst.
Yes. We had to specify, because you asked for this, or you asked the question, I should say. To be specific, this is not about all controllers. Because otherwise we could just write Mad Cats and walk away.
Oh my God.
No, these are specifically controllers, like the base controllers that you would get when you buy the console. So any kind of NES Advantage, Switch Pro, blah, blah, blah. No, those, I mean, even though those are for first party, we're going more for the baseline controller designs. There's still a lot because plenty of consoles had redesigned controllers over the years, and there's a lot of terrible controllers out there. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Second generation. The generation with probably the most consoles in it. I was doing research for something unrelated the other day, and I noticed there's like 9 consoles in that generation. It's stupid. So what do you have?
So I let Jed know I'm going to be shitty with the first few gens because I didn't exist and I didn't get to use a lot of these controllers, but I have a lot of opinions later. I do know the Atari 2600 joystick, and that's the one I picked for best. You got to stick in a button. I feel like it's really ugly, but it's reliable. It's like almost like the cockroach of gaming controllers. It survives everything. Like the world could end and it would still function. Kind of like a Nokia phone.
That's not untrue.
And then for the worst, I looked through many Reddit opinions and looked at photos of this. The Atari 5200. Apparently, it's really fragile. I will say it's oversized. The analog stick looks really janky. It looks like a really awkward controller, and apparently a lot of people fucking hate it. So that's the one I picked for worst.
You wouldn't be alone in picking the Atari 5200. That is a lot of people's pick. I have a soft spot for it because I did have the 5200. But yeah, that stick, it was an analog stick. It's the first analog stick that I'm aware of, but it was non-centering. So if you pressed right, you had to bring it back to the center to get it to recenter. It wouldn't just do it automatically, which it was so fragile, it was so easy to break, and that stupid number pad. Yeah, I don't blame you for picking that one.
Yeah, people really don't like it. They're still very, very pissed at it.
Mm-hmm. And good luck finding a used one. If you want to get into the retro gaming market and play and get a 5200 and play it, there are so few of them that are working. There's like aftermarket kits that you can get to repair it, but original ones are like few and far between that are working.
Yeah, I don't really feel inclined to do that, to be honest.
I couldn't blame you. Again, I have a soft spot for it for nostalgia purposes, but I understand why it's not a beloved and revered console. Why Atari tends to re-release the 2600 to death and ignores the 52. All right, my picks for the generation, my best. This was my hardest generation because I think honestly all of the controllers in that generation are straight up garbage. Even the best are like tolerable. The 2600's joystick, if you have small hands, that joystick is not very comfortable to hold, and the stick is very stiff, but it is functional. And like you said, they don't die. They will be around until the end of time.
Insert stiff stick joke here. Okay, sorry. Good.
I went with something off the board, something a little odd. I went with the controller for the Vectrex. It kind of looks like, what if you took the NES controller, made it about 3 inches longer, added 2 more buttons, and put a stick in the middle of the D-pad, or actually replace the D-pad with a small stick about like an inch or two tall. It looks the easiest to hold and the easiest to deal with and the most familiar to gamers. Like it looks like a gaming controller that you would associate with video games rather than a lot of the weird shit from that generation. My worst pick would be the Fairchild Channel F.
The what?
The Fairchild Channel F. That was a console that came out in 1977, maybe 78. I can't quite remember. It was, to its credit for historical purposes, it is the first gaming console that had interchangeable cartridges. The problem with the controller is that it looks like a vibrator. It's a handle that's probably about, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches long. And then it has a triangular knob at the top that I'm assuming is used. You turn it to alter direction and you press it inward, kind of like you would analog thumbsticks today. You press it inward as a fire button. It is so ungainly and so awkward. I can't imagine it being an accurate controller for anything.
Never seen that thing in my life. Could have went the rest of my life without looking at it.
Does it not kind of look like a marital aid?
It looks weird. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's really, someone really overthought the controller.
One of those things, I don't know what the fuck this, maybe I'm just making this up from a horror movie. I feel like, I don't know. It's not an electric chair, but they put something on your head and they put it in your hands and you hold it and it like shocks you. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of looks like those things.
Yeah, it does kind of. Yeah, like some kind of evil scientist device.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
a vibrator, yeah.
And that's not the only controller that looks like that. Also, the controller for oh shit, what was it? It wasn't the Magnavox Odyssey. It was something else. Oh, it was the Bally Astrocade. Looks very similar to that, except for instead of being the handle being very straight, it looks more like the handle from a gun, and it has a trigger on it. But you also can press in the control knob at the top. Again,
That's
very, very.
So gamers,
Yeah.
give them a controller that looks like a gun handle.
Except for no gun. It's just the handle. It's like, it's the weirdest design. All right, let's move on to the third generation. What do you have?
Okay, again, there's only one that I know of personally, and I picked it for the best, and that's the NES controller. I feel like it's just so cute looking, honestly. It's like a little blocky little thumb killer. But I feel like it kind of invented the blueprint for a lot of controllers since then. And it's just so cute. I've never played the Master System, but people hated that. And
Really?
one person said that the D-pad felt like they were trying to control games with a garage door opener specifically. And I really liked that quote.
Thank you.
Is that the one you picked for your best?
No, I picked the NES for my best as well.
Or worst, I meant, sorry.
No, I did not pick that for the worst either. I've never actually used a Master System controller.
It is really weird looking.
It definitely looks like something inspired by the NES controller, but not quite nailing the...
Less ergonomical.
Yes.
Like negative ergonomics.
Yes. But yeah, I picked the NES controller for best.
It's so cute.
It is the blueprint. It is absolutely the blueprint for controllers. It's still 40 years later.
It's also so cute. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of it is a cute controller. It's a little rectangle, and it's got the nice. Even though the corners were kind of brutal on your palms, it's still it's a beautiful controller. The B and A buttons are placed perfectly. It would be very hard to improve upon that controller for that generation. My worst controller for that generation, however, is the North American version of the Atari 7800 controller. And I picked the North American version specifically because Europe got one that looked a lot like the NES controller, but if you thought the Master System's controller looked dodgy, the European versions looks like a Five Below version controller. But the North American Atari 7800 controller looks like the Atari 5200's controller, but they made the joystick bigger and they took out the number pad.
It looks like a gas pedal with a stick sticking out of it.
Yeah. They learned all the wrong lessons from the 5200.
How do you even hold? It almost looks like the stick is like how do you hold that and get your thumb there? Do you know what I'm like?
So the way you hold it is, assuming you're right-handed, you have to put it in your left hand because the fire buttons are on the side of it.
Yeah, I don't know how and then you use the right hand for the analog.
Yeah, yeah, you use
like
right hand for this. You use right hand
like you're making soup.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so fucking weird. I'm sorry.
It is awkward as hell. I will give you. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as the 5200. It's just, like I said, they removed the number pad and they made the joystick even more bulky. It is so... The reason, like I said, that I picked it and I didn't pick the 5200 is, as bad as the 5200 controller is, they had the chance to improve upon their design and fix the mistake, and they didn't. They doubled down. What the hell?
I feel like I haven't actually seen the European one either. I feel like even that one's kind of weird because you have the D-pad like on the upper left corner and then the buttons on the like lower right corner. So it's like weird. Why wouldn't you put them kind of next to each other in the middle, kind of? I don't know.
Yeah.
The North American one is way worse for sure, but the European one doesn't really look much better.
Oh, no, yeah. The European one is definitely a budget controller your grandma got for you for Easter at CVS. It is not a well-designed controller, but at least I can look at it and go, I know how I'd hold it. It may not be comfortable, but I know how I'd hold it. The 7800.
Unless you clarified that, I would have thought you're like thumb warring with one hand. And somehow the way you hold it is even worse because it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is completely and utterly awkward. All right. Next generation, the fourth generation.
Okay, I have really fond memories of the SNES system, specifically playing Street Fighter when I was like super young and had zero hand-eye coordination, could barely even walk probably. But I still vividly remember playing that game, and I remember my SNES because there were two gaming consoles, this one and the N64 that I got around Christmas time, and both times on Christmas I had the flu, and I accidentally threw up on both of them. And my poor mother and stepdad had to go out and buy me like new ones because they felt so bad. But anyway, fun little story. But I remember playing Street Fighter on that. And I remember I was tiny and I had tiny hands, but that controller was so comfortable and I kicked ass. I feel like it's the perfect shape, the perfect layout, perfect everything, no notes. Love that controller.
All right. What's your worst?
The CDI, and I've never played it, but I have watched videos on CDI gameplay. I have my own personal opinions on it just because of the lore behind it. So I think maybe I'm just like biased and fuck that system. But I feel like when I was looking at it, it's like the controller equivalent of a wet napkin. It's just awkward.
Which one? There were multiple controllers for that.
The first one, just the first one that came out with the system.
From the episode a few months back with Yahil, he even said, don't use the base controller that comes with it, that it's hot garbage.
Yeah, wet napkin.
Yeah. I picked the Sega Genesis 6-button controller.
A good one.
I'm sorry, I do have beef with the SNES controller.
Fuck off.
I don't like the fact that the B and A button are on an angle, because you can't naturally roll from B to A like that. I just don't like that design, and I don't like the shoulder.
Because you were bad at it.
You didn't have one, so.
Oh, wow. If a little kid could use it.
I didn't like the shoulder triggers either. I thought they were mushy. I didn't really care for their placement. I thought that the Sega's 6-button controller was a more logical layout.
I like that one too.
I'm not saying it was a bad controller. I'm not going to say that the SNES controller is my worst. I just prefer the normal ergonomic design of the Sega 6-button controller.
I like them both, to be honest. I like them both.
CDI is definitely my worst. I specified the spoon controller.
Wait, I gotta look this one up.
Because whatever fucking lunatic picked that controller, she is dying, by the way. I can see her and she is turning beet red, ladies and gentlemen.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know. If for those who don't know, I advise you to look it up. I will describe it anyway. It is flat. It kind of looks like it's in the shape of an obese wooden spoon. At the top, at the circle part, at the top, there's 4 buttons in a ring, kind of like the Xbox Red Ring of Death, and there's a small joystick in the center of it. I have no goddamn idea how you hold this thing. No idea how you control with this thing. I don't know. I just don't know.
I'm actually so confused as to how you use this thing. I don't know what I was expecting when you said spoon controller.
But not that. It's magical, isn't it? It is like someone really outsmarted themselves with it. And what's even better is that the Philips CDI had something like a half a dozen controllers. And part of the design mandate that Philips had was that every game had to be functional with every controller, regardless of what kind of game it was. So they had a conversion of Myst on there. It had to be controllable with the regular controller, with the spoon controller, with the light gun.
That's fucked.
Try playing Myst with a light gun.
I'd be like, I'm good. I'm just not even going to make this game for your shit-ass console.
Yeah. I'm sure that there are some good games on there. There has to be. I believe that there's a good game on every console, but God willing, Philips made it difficult for those to exist with controllers like that.
I'm also looking at the CDI remote, which is literally like a television remote. This is like probably the worst console to ever exist. I'm sorry.
They made some mistakes. They had some interesting ideas behind it, but they made some mistakes.
They also have a remote that you can open that looks like the spoon, but also the remote, and you can slide down the bottom part to reveal buttons.
I had to stop myself from just saying CDI controllers all. I decided to go, okay. I was like, I need to pick one just for clarity's sake, and it's got to be the most ridiculous one. But really, if you're going to play CDI, just get an 8-bit Do controller or a Bluetooth controller, because none of the standard ones are a good choice.
I like the one that looks like a mouse.
Yeah, it is a mouse. They had a mouse for it for point-and-click games. That was worth it to see your reaction to the spoon. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll have anything quite like that for the rest of the episode.
I don't know what I was expecting.
All right, what's your next? We're on the 5th generation.
I think I'm going to get shit for this, and I have a feeling this is actually going to be your worst. Maybe, but I don't give a flying fuck. Do you hear me, listeners? If any of you disagree, God damn it, I'll die on this hill. You can find me and kill me yourself. I fucking love the N64 controller. I don't care. I'm sorry. I fucking love it. I know it's weird. I don't understand why there are 3 pillars emerging from the bottom of the controller in which you can place your hands on. Do you put it on the left too? One in the, do you put it on the right and the left? Like, how do you hold it? Doesn't matter. Nobody knows. Who cares? I love it. I feel like once you get like the 3-hand weirdness, it's magical. playing GoldenEye on that bitch. Chef's kiss. And the worst is the Jaguar because it's like a controller TV remote from Radio Shack.
I can't disagree about the Jaguar one, man.
It's weird.
It's not the one that I
worse than the CDI remote one. It's kind of uglier.
It's not what I picked. It would probably be in second worst. It is bad.
Yeah.
Exceptionally bad. I'm not a fan of the N64 controller, but that's also not my worst pick. I went off the board for my worst on this one, but let me do my best first. Sega Saturn, the second version, not the first. The first was a little too jagged, like its original shape. It's a lot like the Genesis shape, but the first version had much more jagged edges where it rests in your palms, and they redesigned it midway through the console's life cycle and smoothed out the edges, and the shoulder triggers were better placed, a little more sensitive. Just all the button response was better.
I played the second model one. I actually am trying to find a picture of the first model.
If you'll know it when you see it, the parts at the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah, you see they're kind of angular.
It looks like a polygon kind of. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
They weren't terrible, but the revision was so much better.
It makes more sense to smooth it out, I think.
Yeah. But the worst, you're going to want to look this up. The Amiga CD32. It was a European-only console. I was wrong. We got that response again.
It's like you're a pilot and you're holding, like, what is it, a yolk in your hand? What the fuck? I'm sorry.
Listeners, do yourself a favor and look this up. Again, I will describe it, but my words cannot convey the stupidity of this controller. Imagine a PlayStation controller, but they flip it upside down. So the thighs of the thing, the handles, are sticking upwards instead of down.
It literally looks like a plane yoke. The things that pilots hold on to, like their steering wheel. It literally looks like that. I am so confused as to why anybody would think that would be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd get carpal tunnel in 30 seconds.
And from everything that I've read about it, I have never held one. I've never even seen an Amiga CD32 live.
Neither.
Thank God. But from everything that I've read, also the shape of it, like the way that it bends a little and the length of it is incredibly uncomfortable. That it's that the way that it bends in the middle is unnatural. So you're not only holding it what feels like upside down, but your hands feel awkwardly placed. It is a baffling design.
You'd be shocked to hear that every third-party controller that I'm seeing doesn't look anything like that. It looks like the Genesis controller.
I'm stunned.
Same. Actually, it kind of looks like the SNES controller. There's one that looks like the Genesis controller. But yeah, none of them have that weird shape. So
they all looked at Amiga's version and went, we can do better than that.
I don't like I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the meeting room when they're talking about that. Like, who comes up with this shit? Did they even bother to play it for like a couple hours in their hands and say, yeah, this is good. This works.
I feel like they had to look at it and go, this looks different. It will make us stand out, without thinking of the end user.
Gamers don't give a fuck about that.
Right.
Since the dawn of time.
Right. Perfect example. Look at what happened when the original version of the PlayStation 3 controller was shown. The boomerang. And Sony fans in unison went, no. That was a fucking disaster.
Like, just the DualShock, just
right into the
reinvent the fucking wheel.
Yeah. It's a beautiful controller. Roll it till the wheels fall off. It was perfectly fine. You didn't need to change it. And fans were right. And Amiga did not listen to that. All right. 6th gen.
I have 2 favorites and 1 bad, if that's okay. So I think I love the GameCube controller. It looks like a Fisher-Price toy, but it plays like a dream. Maybe I'm biased because I played so much GameCube in my life, but I just felt like that controller felt comfortable to me. I was a kid. My little brother was even younger than I was, which was a pain in the dick because my mom would be like, let your brother play Super Mario Sunshine. And even he could use it as like a fucking child. So, great controller. I know people don't like the GameCube controller at all. The Dreamcast controller at all. And I don't know really why that is because that was another one that I played when I was a kid. And I know it's kind of like larger in your hands, but I didn't really have a problem playing it. In fact, this is what I loved about it. So I used to love, there was a Sonic game. I don't remember which one it was, but you could have like the Chow Gardens and shit and you could play with the different characters. It's the one with Chaos, the water thing that would transform into different. Anyway,
The one
with
with
the
Sonic
memory
Adventure
card.
games?
Yeah. When you had the memory card and you'd go like the Chow Gardens, you could see the little animations on the memory card. I don't know. I just loved that. I thought it was cute. It was like unique. It caught my attention as a kid. And they did that with other games too. But what I really fucking hated was the Duke. I remember, I'm pretty sure, tell me if I'm wrong. I got one of the first rounds of the Xbox, the one that came with Mechasol, and I'm 99.9% sure this controller came with it.
Yeah, no,
And
that was a standard for like the
I
first
hated
year or
it.
two, I think.
And I was young. I had smaller hands. And I was like, I fucking hate this controller. And I remember when they finally switched to the S design, the bigger ones, it was like too big for my hands, but I still loved it. I was like, this controller's a fucking beast. I had to like do some slight movements. But anyway, I fucking hated the Duke. I thought it was so awkward. I'm really glad that they changed it and they stuck with it because it's much better. But anyway, all right, that's my rant.
Okay, comment number 1. I also love the Dreamcast controller. I don't know why it gets as much hate as it does. I thought it felt great in my hands. The two little, like, I don't know what to call them, like the ridges on the side where
Yeah.
the thumb triggers right there. It fit nicely in the groove of your fingers, and I thought it was an excellent design. GameCube is quirky. It is very Nintendo.
It works.
It does work. That second stick is very odd. The C stick or whatever it is. It's a little odd, but it is also very Nintendo.
I think it was typically used, at least from my recollection, like in Super Mario Sunshine. I'm pretty sure I haven't played it in years, but I think it was used to rotate the camera.
Yeah, it usually
Okay.
it was like a right analog stick now, mostly camera work. It was just
not necessary, but a nice to have, I guess.
Yeah, it was a weird way to do a second stick was all. Like, you had PlayStation doing, here's 2 sticks, and you had Xbox going, here's 2 sticks, and Nintendo's like, here's a stick, and here's a weird rotating nipple button thing. But it is so Nintendo, so I can kind of cut them some slack for it. My best is the PS2.
Oh, it's a good, yeah.
DualShock version 2.
Mm-hmm.
It is such an easy controller to hold. The form factor is perfect. I have no notes about it. None whatsoever. Worst controller? Yeah, you spot on. We're in sync on this one. The Duke. What the fuck were they thinking? I don't know. I really, really don't know what that one.
I don't know either. And again, I had like baby hands, so smaller controllers were better for me, and I much preferred the large, obnoxious S controller over the Duke. It was just ass.
Yeah. All right, next one. 7th gen.
Okay. I have 2 for worst. Actually, I have 3. Sorry.
I have 2 for worst, actually, too. So
I already know we're just going to get this out of the way because I know we're going to agree on this, and it's the DualShock 3.
For worst or the best?
The worst.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that at all.
Really? That's
Really?
interesting. Because a lot of people hated the DualShock 3. They preferred the 2 and the 4.
Yeah, no, I've never had a problem with the 3.
Oh, okay. I hated it. A lot of other people did. All right. But mainly the Kinect and the Wii Remote. Okay, so the Kinect, I was so excited for that because there was a scary game that came out, and I don't remember what it was, but it came out for the Kinect. And I was so excited to like be immersed in this. It was just ass. I was just jumping around my living room like a jackass. I didn't like the DualShock 3 because I felt like the triggers were mushy. The plastic was just cheaper. It felt like kind of just like a cheaper version of the 2, and I know that a lot of people carried that same sentiment, and I think they fixed it with the 4. So it's like a minor criticism. But the Wii remote, I guess you could say it was revolutionary or whatever. I think I'm just a Wii hater. Full disclosure, I'm going to shit on the Wii U remote also. I think I'm just a Nintendo hater. Like, I play Nintendo, but I think I'm just like so annoyed with them trying to be like kitschy. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Okay. I guess it was fun for bowling, but like absolute fucking clown shoes for everything else. And I feel like the only thing I have to say is, do you remember the website wehaveaproblem.com? WII?
Yes.
Dude, people were fucking hucking that thing through their goddamn television. At some point, like, could it be user error? Yes. But some of these people, like, really had that wrist strap tightened and they're just launching that shit into their children, televisions, significant others out the window, into space. Who knows? Just cool in theory, but like poor execution, I feel like. Oh, and my best, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Xbox 360. I feel like that's a surprise. The modern standard. Fits in your hand perfectly, like butter. Xbox like really nailed it with their controllers after the Duke, I feel like. I still love their controllers. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Slight little upgrades. My one complaint is sometimes now you get like a little bit of stick drift, but that's only if you play like way too much Xbox like me. Other than that, no notes.
Okay. Fair enough. I do not have any of the controllers you listed on either side.
That's actually great.
So my best is PS3. Maybe because I got the Slim. I don't know if they redesigned it, tuned it up at some point, but I've never had a problem with the PS3 controller. I still have my original PS3 controllers 20 years later. So I just find them to be another version of the, just a slight iteration of the PS2 and the PS1 controllers. No notes there. But on the worst side, I have 2. The first is the PlayStation Move.
Horrible.
Let's
so
take
ugly also.
Oh yeah. Absolutely stupid looking. Let's take the Wii remote, make it barely support it. That's not the controller's fault, but still barely support it. Jam it into a gun on occasion and have a multicolored ball at the end of it. It was never as responsive as the Wiimote. It wasn't as supported. Its only function now is to be used with the PlayStation VR helmet, so at least it got a second life. But as a let's copy the Wii initiative, pure failure, pure garbage. The other controller that I would say is the worst for this generation is from the micro console, the Ouya. Holy shit. Did they fuck this up? Part of the pitch video I remember for the Ouya when it was on Kickstarter was the CEO going, what is the most important thing as far as a game console? The controller, because without a great controller, you don't have a great interface with the game. The controller they sent with it is this hybrid PS3 Xbox 360 controller that gets none of the aspects right of either one of them. You have to change the batteries in it like a fucking Game Boy, but the batteries are hidden behind magnetic plates that are on like the left side and the right side, but not the center. Like covering the thigh parts and the D-pad and the buttons, which means that the buttons can kind of get lodged underneath the magnetic face plates. Also, they're held on by fucking magnets, which means they can pop off easily.
Fucking magnets.
Ouya put out a video of how to change the batteries. Literally, the guy took the controller and set it on a desktop, then held up a goddamn battle axe. I am not making this up. It was like a foot-long battle axe and whacks it. He hits it like he's hitting a nail with a hammer, and the thing bounces off of it. The controller bounces. The two magnetic faceplates fly off it in random directions. It is the dumbest controller design because it doesn't do what they wanted it to do. They overthought it, but somehow underdesigned it at the same time.
Sounds like there's a lot of reasons actually why it's dumb, to be honest.
Oh yeah, there is so many failures. I'm not even touching on all of them, but the entire Ouya project was a disaster from day one, and the controllers were just a fucking nightmare.
Real quick, I feel vindicated because I complained about cheap plastic with the OG DualShock. You got the upgraded DualShock with the PlayStation Slim. So you got the new version of the DualShock 3. My complaint was with like the OG because I have the PlayStation 3 80 gig 4 USB. So I got the OG DualShock. So they made it like more, they got rid of plastic brackets between the L1 R1 buttons and the L2 R2 triggers. So they increased controller rigidity.
Gotcha.
And made some other upgrades. So the first one was just ass. I actually bought new controllers for my old PlayStation 3. So you skipped that.
To be honest, I really didn't know that they had an alternate version, or that the earlier version had that cheaper plastic. So,
and it wasn't like, honestly, it was not terrible. It was still way better than like 99% of controllers that gaming consoles come with. So it's just like a minor critique because they strayed away from like the DualShock 2, but then they really fixed it with the updated 3 and then the DualShock 4. So I'm not a Sony hater. I love them and Microsoft equally.
Right. So I amend my pick to PlayStation 3 second version.
Boom.
All right. Next generation, the 8th.
I picked the DualShock 4 for my best because it's comfortable, accurate. It was a big improvement over the DualShock 3 that I was just talking about. The sticks felt really solid. The triggers didn't feel like toys. They felt like very responsive. Blessed. My worst, can you guess?
The Wii U tablet.
The Wii U gamepad? Literally, to me, it's like a Fisher-Price tablet duct taped to a controller with like an ass battery life. It really felt like Nintendo just attached like an iPad to your hands and was like, just trust the vision. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? It makes me so mad. I don't even know what to say that's productive without just like talking shit and roasting it. Like, it just, in theory, cool, but execution, poor.
It was Nintendo at their most. We have to build a gimmick first. Like, the Wii at least supported the gimmick very well. Every game had to use, I mean, I'm not saying every game was good, but what I mean is that the motion controls were the centerpiece of it, and every game incorporated it in some way, whether good or bad, it had to.
And they did better than Microsoft and PlayStation.
Yeah. The Wii U's gamepad, most developers went, okay, yeah, a mini map.
Yeah, like, what do you want us to do with this?
Item management, like, what is this for?
Do you have somebody that's going to work on this for us now? Okay.
I did not pick the Wii U game tablet as the worst. It was my second place, but first best, also PlayStation 4. Yeah, it's a lovely controller. Might be the best version of the PlayStation controller.
Fuck yeah.
Worst though, Kinect.
Wait, isn't that for the 360? Did I get that wrong?
They also had it with the Xbox One.
Wow, I mentally blocked that out. Okay.
Because originally it came with the Xbox One and you were forced to set it up because it was part of all of those bullshit policies, like the Xbox One being always on and no use games, and and Kinect was a mandatory part of that.
I fucking forgot about that. I did not buy an Xbox One for so long because of that. I fucking forgot about that. You have to talk about that. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just excited.
No, it's okay. Though, I mean, the whole idea of Kinect was fucking stupid to begin with. Your body is the controller. No, I don't want my body to be the controller. I want to sit on a fucking couch and eat Cheez-Its and play a game. I don't want to stand there doing goddamn jumping jacks and waving around. Like, that's not how I want to play God of War. I mean, I know God of War is not on Xbox, but I don't want to play Halo like that either. I don't want to go pretend I'm holding a shotgun. It was such a preposterous idea for a controller that they were clearly chasing the Wii at that point. They were clearly going after the casual market and they were abandoning the hardcore market. And then to tie it to the console's functionality. Now it's a remote. Now it's a webcam. And the Xbox One had all these incredibly restrictive anti-consumer policies. By the end of the 360, the consumer base had already said, we don't want the Kinect. This thing sucks. And Xbox's response was, really? No, now we're going to it's no longer optional. We're forcing it. It was the dumbest idea.
I feel like this was really the start. I forgot. I mentally blocked this out. The secret reptilians are already listening to us on like our phones and shit. We don't really Alexa. We don't really need, which I realize is, that became more prominent a little bit after this, but still existed. It's just, I remember that. And I remember I abstained from buying that console and I literally mentally blocked it out. But I remember that being such a big thing. And that was legitimately just such a big concern for me. Cause I'm like, okay, if you can turn the console on with voice commands, in theory, it has to always be somewhat listening, even in a passive state. And the Kinect is always fucking watching. That's weird as shit. What are you going to do? Turn the Kinect to the wall? I can't believe I forgot about that. That was such a scary fucking thing to me. I was like, hell no, big brother, I'm good.
That was one of the death knells of the Xbox One, too.
They rolled that back, though, fast, I think, because they got a lot of shit for it, right?
They did, but it didn't help.
No, was...
Sony fucking buried them at
I remember
that year.
I remember they marketed against it, too, and it was, like, brilliant.
Oh, yeah, that video of, this is how you share games with Sony, and it's got one guy holding it, and he just turns and he hands it to the other guy, and the other guy goes, thank you. Like, utter headshot insta-kill. And they haven't recovered. The one sold half of what the 360 did, and they don't even release sales figures anymore, but it's estimated that the Series X has sold half of what the one did.
And it's a shame because, so I own the one. I had a PlayStation 5. I still have my PlayStation 3. I have a PlayStation 4, but it's just like, I think I've mentioned this, it's in the box still because I was one of like 10,000 people in the United States that got the PlayStation 1 anniversary edition of the PlayStation 4. So it sits in a box. I still have to send you a picture of it, by the way. It's in a box, but you can see the picture. But I ended up getting an Xbox One just because I've been playing PlayStation Live and Xbox Live until I'm not gonna lie, kind of switched ultimately to PC now. PC gaming is elite, I'm sorry. But most of my friends are on Xbox, so I played that mainly. And I will say, like, what they're doing with Game Pass, I didn't like that they combined Game Pass with Live because it's more expensive. But if you can go to like Kinguin and just get like a cheap deal for like a year, you can pay half the price. You get Game Pass and Live, and there's so many, even new games, old games, there's really good like A1 titles on it that you don't have to pay for. As long as you have Game Pass, you can play them, which I think is a really great feature. I don't know if Sony has something similarly on the PlayStation Store.
They do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's their PlayStation Plus now has 3 tiers, and the highest tier. Okay, so the middle tier is very much like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's limited to 4 and 5 games. The highest tier has a constant stream of games from the 4 and the 5, and it's got a bunch of back library stuff from the 1, 2, and 3.
They have that on Xbox too. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think they're both strong consoles that have strengths and weaknesses. Now, I think that argument, like PlayStation versus Xbox or Microsoft, is kind of moot because each had like exclusive titles, and now you can get those titles anywhere. So I feel like that, at this point, they're two sides of the same coin.
Right. I still think at this point, Microsoft just needs to stop doing hardware.
For sure.
Because it's clear that between Game Pass and the sales of the Xbox, it just become the new Sega. You're going to make more money doing that.
I like both. I still like my Xbox. I like both.
I'm not saying that as a publisher they don't have a place, but they're never going to be competitive at this point. I think they've done too much damage to the brand.
They could fix that, but they won't. They won't. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, they won't. They're too caught up in themselves in some way. I'm not sure how, but they're not focused on the right thing. All right. We got off on a tangent. Last generation. The modern generation.
So we normally don't do that, but I guess we have been for the past few, so I have not done that.
I mean, the modern generation is now 5 years old, so I figure
I'm going to wing it. I'm going to say the best keyboard and mouse.
Ooh.
I'm going to be PC elitist and say keyboard and mouse.
All my kids would agree with you.
And the worst is anything handheld.
Ouch.
With peace and love. If you still play consoles, I love you. I still play consoles too, but PC is elite. I'm just going to start adding 9th gen to everything because I feel like I pushed you into doing it and now we do it.
I'm sure that there's still topics that it won't fit for just because the way the historical perspective works, it might not. But for the most part, I think it's around, even if it doesn't feel like it has made nearly as much of an impact as other generations, and ignore it. My best PS5, it's another iteration of the DualShock and of the PlayStation 4. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like it as much as the PlayStation 4.
Why?
Form factor, it's just not as comfortable. The 4 had just a little bit more, the ergonomics of it were feel a little bit better in my hands. The 5 doesn't quite. I don't know that I could put my finger on it without like looking at the two controllers side by side, but it's not like it's the PlayStation 5's an A and the 4 is like a C or anything. Like they're fairly close. It's just I like the 5 a little bit. I like the 4 a little bit better than the 5. I had it backwards.
Yeah.
Worst, however, Switch 2.
Wait, did you buy one?
No. I
Okay,
refuse.
good.
I refuse. But
did you hear that they're like thinking about like slowing production? Or
Mhm.
So sorry to interrupt, but I just had a friend say, "Oh, I'm thinking about buying the Switch 2." And I'm like, "Bro, just buy the one." And he's like insistent. I sent him all these articles. I'm like, "You're gonna be paying so much more money for something that can do the same fucking thing. Like, why waste your time?" But the reviews are like abysmal. Sorry.
the reason I picked the Switch 2 for this is, and we can get back to what you were saying in a moment. The reason I picked the Switch 2 is because even though they made the Switch controllers, the Joy-Cons, a little bit bigger, and they added the mouse functionality, they did not change the bigger problems of these things. Still turning them horizontal and trying to use them as a control pad for like classic Nintendo games fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's awkward.
They're still too damn small, and they did not fix the issue with stick drift. The same issue that the exact same technical spec issue that haunts the Joy-Cons in the Switch 1 is still present in the Switch 2, despite the fact that multiple sources have said there is an easy fix for this. You can avoid this by doing this or using Hall effect controllers. Nope. They decided to ride out with the same damn thing and just make it a slightly bit bigger. And so I guarantee in a year, we're going to hear about Joy-Con drift all over again.
I feel like Nintendo, not to hate on Nintendo, for those of you that love Nintendo, Liz and I love Nintendo. They've created some of the best games of all time. But I have to be critical of them. They're the shittiest company out there in terms of their fans. They fucking hate their fans. And they stand on business, even if their business is absolute fuck ass shit. And if I feel like they're the kind of company where if a bunch of consumers that spend a ton of money on their products and say, "Hey, we love it, but we have these critiques," they'll be like, "Fuck you, we're just going to keep doing this because we don't give a fuck about your opinion." And that's like, I think what ultimately pisses me off about Nintendo is they're not really open to critique from the people that keep them in business, whereas other companies like PlayStation or Xbox might be willing to release a whole different controller or make an upgrade to their controller because the consumers are saying, "Hey, we don't like this." Nintendo's always been a cunt. Sorry.
You're not wrong in a sense. You're not wrong. They have always, even at their funnest periods, which I would say was when Reggie Fils-Aimé was in charge of Nintendo of America, even then they still had times where they would bend their head down and plow forward no matter what anyone said. And it has only gotten worse since Reggie left and since Iwata passed away.
All right.
Whoever's in charge now, well, I don't fucking know. They're an empty suit.
It's probably an American. Sorry, I'm American, but it's probably an American.
They are so just like head down business sense, so afraid of chance, so afraid of doing something original, so afraid of doing something unique, so afraid of doing something Nintendo, really. They're afraid of embracing that Nintendo unique charm.
I feel like they haven't really done that in a long time, though. Like, I feel like they've been more about, like, kitschy than, like, uniqueness and what sets us apart, right? Like, even with the Wii, I'm sorry. And look at how fast the Wii died out and they just stopped bothering with it. And it's like you had all these people that spent all this money on these accessories and what have you. And they're like, "Yeah, well, this just didn't work out, so fuck it." You know? I feel like that's going to be the same thing with the Switch. we're not going to have a Switch 3, I don't think. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I will admit it, but I just don't feel like, I don't know.
I have read articles lately where they have been discouraging developers, saying cross-gen, develop for Switch 1. Maybe they're short on dev kits, but at the same time, I think they might be in the same situation that Sony is with the PlayStation 4, where you have a console that had an absolutely ridiculously huge install base, and you're afraid to abandon that because not everyone's jumping on board with the new thing. Plenty of people are, but not to the volume of the old, and you certainly don't want to leave them behind.
But I think they will if you offer value. Not everybody.
Not everybody, but the problem is they're not offering anything. I haven't seen anything compelling yet. I've heard that the new Donkey Kong game is amazing.
That's my point. They're not offering value, especially like the price point that it is. I would never spend that much money unless you were offering me insane value. Like I want titles on launch that are going to draw me in, and I want like a roadmap of what's to come. So if they offered value, more customers would be willing to pay. But I also feel like a big problem is like gaming is becoming a luxury hobby now. And I don't know about you guys, but 99% of us people that game were gaming because we were like broke as kids and we didn't really have anything else to do. This was our escape. We're adults. We still don't have a shit ton of money. And it's very much becoming like a luxury hobby. And that will alienate 90% of the gaming fan base across all systems and consoles. So companies need to be aware of that.
Sony just announced, what was it, last week, that they were raising the price of the PlayStation 5.
Xbox too.
Which signals what the PlayStation 6 is going to be in the next Xbox, which I was talking about with friends. And we had the same concept of gaming is becoming a luxury hobby. And if it is going to continue with that, I don't know that I can continue along with it.
At that point, just build a PC, man. You can do that because you can buy parts over time. There's certain parts you can buy used. Like I had my PC built over like a year. And you can upgrade small things as you need to, but you can have something like a graphics card for a couple of years. You know what I mean? So like it's just way cheaper that way. But Xbox is doing the same thing too. I remember they complained it was because of tariffs. But what I thought was really fucking funny is they said tariffs, but they're also raising the cost of their digital titles. So how do tariffs impact your digital titles?
Yeah, I don't remember digital titles being imported on a boat.
Exactly. But Xbox was like, those are going up too. And I'm like, so now you can't actually say that tariffs is your excuse. Just say you're trying to increase your profits when your profit margin is probably already like way higher than you want to tell people. But I don't know. Yep. That's my rant. Gaming is becoming a luxury. Switch 2 is too much money. Yep. If you have a Switch 2 and you love it, send us a message because honestly, I'd love to hear like positive comments because all I hear are negative ones. I feel like it's just a negative echo chamber.
I've heard from people that I know who have it, I've heard positive things about it, but at the same time, I haven't heard anyone say, I'm glad I bought it for this.
Yeah.
I've heard, the Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Banana Bonanza.
Yeah, it's like bananas or something. I've heard people say, it's a great game. I've heard them say Mario Kart World is a good game. I have not heard anyone say, I'm glad that I bought it for this experience, which to me says it all. Like, I can say I'm glad I bought a PlayStation 4 because of God of War 2018 and Spider-Man. I'm glad that I bought, name a system that I've had or, that you've had. I can point to a handful of games and go, this was a signature experience. I have not heard that yet. Now, Switch 2 has only been out, as of this taping, it's August 27th. It's only been out 2.5 months, but in 2.5 months, there should be some type of system seller.
You remember when the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 came out virtually at the same time? And there was like a big beef, but also both sides of the coin were like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, we love it. I don't know.
Yep. I discovered the other day one of those retro boutique consoles called the Polymega. It plays a whole bunch of, it's got adapter kits for like SNES and Nintendo and Sega and TurboGrafx, but the base unit is CD based and it plays like Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, PlayStation 1, and Sega Saturn. It's like a $500 console, but I get access to 4 different classic libraries. You can use burned CDs on there. So I'm not endorsing piracy, but I'm not endorsing it. $500 and I've got access to thousands of historical games and consoles that collecting for. Like, you want to collect for a Sega Saturn? Have fun. There are games that are in the thousands of dollars for that. Now I have access to them. I might just start being a retro collector at that point because it might be cheaper.
That's value. That's adding value. Don't rule out PC gaming now. And I say that as somebody who played consoles into my 30s. And then I started PC gaming and I was like, holy fucking shit. Game changing. And PC gaming isn't cheap, but once you build it, like, you're set. And you could build like a solid PC you could build an insane PC for $1,000. Like, an insane PC. And you won't really have to do much to upgrade it unless you're trying to play something like really, really crazy or something that's like really resource intensive. But again, you can make like minor upgrades as you have to go. Like, you might have to upgrade your GPU, maybe you have to upgrade but that'll happen like over time, but your PC will still be built. And also, I have a keyboard that sounds like raindrops and I love it. It's called the Rainy 75 if anybody's looking for a keyboard.
I don't know why I like that. That's heartwarming in its own way. All right. Let's close this puppy up. This was fun. All right. You want to follow us? Well, first, you need to like and share and subscribe and help us grow.
Yeah, tell them. Don't ask. Tell them.
Yes, you need to do this, damn it.
Do it.
Do it now. Like it, share it, subscribe it. Leave a review on your podcasting platform of choice or leave a comment on YouTube and like us. Wherever you listen to us, interact.
Do or do not. There is no try. Yoda. Exactly.
If you're going to listen to anyone, listen to a small green 900-year-old alien. You can follow us on Blue Sky at First Gen Gamers Pod. You can also follow us on Instagram on that. You can follow me at Streets of Jed on Blue Sky. And you can follow Ashley.
Wait, we also have Instagram, First Gen Gamers Pod, and TikTok, First Gen Gamers Pod, which I need the password to because I got to post stuff on there and I will.
We don't have a first.
We do have a TikTok.
I
made one. You did? One video to it. You posted the video that your son made to it.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
I have no idea what the password is. I thought that got deleted.
We have it, guys. Okay. Anyway, you can find me on F That Pod at TikTok. I post and do lives all the time. Some of them are just like Gen gaming chats. Some of them are true crime. Some of them are just, I don't know, random. Or F That _pod on Instagram. Or F That Pod on Blue Sky. But I'm not going to lie, that's like super political. So if you don't want to agree with my political beliefs, just maybe don't.
That is the episode. Until next time, everyone.
Love you. Bye.